freedom is the topic today. Freedom to choose, freedom to be yourself. And we often dream of, oh man, it would be so nice if I could just go to work and just do what I do, be great at what I'm great at. And oh man, freedom to feel like what you say not only counts, and I know because a lot of people don't get the credit they deserve whenever they do bring their skills to the table. They're often, I mean, this is the same thing. I mean, it's been proven in the slavery times as well, or post-slavery, like right after. All the inventions that were made by black people that never saw the light of day until it was invented by someone else.
Read my book.
Yeah. So yeah, freedom is the topic today. So T, what is your definition of freedom, your personal one, before we get the one from the books?
My personal definition of freedom, to me, freedom is the liberty to choose how you see fit. Like nobody restricting you. That's true freedom to me. Freedom is choosing, knowing that there could be consequences based on your choice, but you still have the power to choose. Like there's no restrictions. That's true freedom to me. Like there are literally no restrictions.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people think they're free and they're not.
Yeah. The freedom to, because it's hard. You have to actually take a deep look within, because your freedom to choose, are you really choosing that because this is something that you deep down are interested in or you want? Or do you claim to be free when you say, oh, I can go and buy Balenciagas or whatever because you see someone else wearing Balenciaga? Like, there's no way anyone that can convince me that you think it's great to go purchase something that you can't afford that loses its value on the way out the door, and there's no way anybody can convince me that that's real freedom. That's not real freedom, not one bit. I think you have convinced yourself that in order to be free, you have to look free.
And what does that even look like?
Exactly.
That's the real question, because freedom it's gonna look different for everybody. Like my idea of freedom is probably not other people's idea of freedom.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are textbook definitions of freedom as well. What's your idea of freedom?
I like to think of it as it's along the same lines as doing what you want to do without fear of reproach. It's just people say, "Oh, unapologetically be yourself." Yeah, but you can't. You could.
I mean, like you can.
You could.
But that comes with consequences.
Absolutely.
And that's what I mean. Like, I mean, that's true freedom though. If you're being unapologetically yourself, that's true freedom though, because you have to understand the consequences that come with that.
Yep. And it's outside pressure.
Like, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm not a Trump fan, not a Trump supporter, but that guy, true freedom. He says whatever he wants to. He don't care about the consequences. That's true freedom.
Yep.
He knows that people are going to say things. The government gonna come. He don't care.
Yep.
Because to himself, he is truly free.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, whatever knowledge he has, of course, because knowledge and freedom do go hand in hand.
Yep.
That's what allows him to be free.
Bingo.
Because he knows what to say and what he can say. That's crazy, but that's one thing I consider to be freedom is you don't have to necessarily play by the rules because they're always changing to fit someone's benefit.
Right.
But just being able to live without that outside pressure telling you what you can and can't do. I think that'll be it for me.
And I ain't gonna lie, that's probably one of the reasons why, as a president, he did a horrible job, in my opinion, because prior to him being a president, he let you know how he is. I mean, look at all his shows. If you watch The Apprentice, you already know how he is.
Yeah.
He's very vocal. He says whatever he wants, unfiltered. But when you get in certain positions, when you get certain titles, you don't get to be free.
Right.
Sorry, you're not free. If you work for Congress, you're not free. You can't say whatever you want to say. You can't get on social media and just say stuff.
Right.
You're not free.
Yep.
If you have certain jobs, you can't get online and just say stuff.
Right.
You are not truly free. You are a quote unquote slave to something.
Something.
And if that something does not like the freedom in which you just gave, they have the ability to provide consequences. That could be losing your job. That could be demoting you. That could be anything. Like, there's a consequence.
Yep.
In Trump's stance, he was the president. He did some things. Now he's not the president. Now we're watching the consequences. They're going after all kinds of things he did. Nothing goes without consequence.
Yep.
Period.
That's
But I mean, it still doesn't change the fact that he utilized his freedom.
Yeah.
He did.
What's the definition you have of it?
Freedom. This is the Merriam-Webster definition. Freedom is a noun. The first definition is the quality or state of being free, such as the absence of necessity, coercion, or constraint in a choice or action. The second definition is liberation from slavery or restraint from power of another, true independence. And then another one says the state or quality of being exempt or released, usually from something erroneous. And then the last one says unrestricted. I mean, it goes all the way down to like 20 other definitions, but those are the most standard definitions of the word freedom.
Wow.
I do want to read this one though. Boldness of conception or execution.
Okay.
I think that that's a good definition of freedom, because in order to truly be free, you got to be bold.
Yeah.
Because again, freedom comes with consequences.
Yep.
I mean, look at us. We're descendants of slaves. We're free, but with consequences. Now we're restricted in every systematic system you can think of. Therefore, we don't have true freedom for real. It's like, yeah, we're free, but we ain't really free, because they still figured out a way to restrict us.
Right. Yep.
You're still restricted. Systematically, you're restricted. The system is not designed to play in your favor.
Right. And my old mentor told me, and you hate to hear stuff like this, but it's the facts. They're always moving the finishing line.
Yes.
Sliding it back every time they get a chance.
Every time you get close.
Mm-hmm. And while the finish line is being moved, innovation is being made. And innovation is always happening from all different races. But in this regard, let's say Black innovation. Anyway, Black innovation has always been in effect, all the way from peanuts and soap or whatever. But you would think innovation would lead us to freedom. So since it hasn't, what are we looking at? Like, what do you think would be the roadblock if there were a roadblock without naming or pointing to a particular race or a group of people?
I'm trying to make sure I understand the question.
Yeah. From all the advancements we've made and all the innovation, what could also be in the way of us achieving freedom without naming or pointing to a particular group of people?
Us. That's my answer. Us. Us is keeping us from true freedom. And the reason why I say that is because when you understand certain things, you move a certain way. For example, I look at life like a board game. When I first got here, I didn't know how to play. As I had experiences, I learned tricks and trades to navigate through this. As I expanded my mind, I realized this is actually a game and it can be played multiple ways. There's many ways to win. Figuring out how to play the game, first of all, figuring out that it is a game,
right,
is key.
Right.
And that's why I said us. We don't understand that this is a game. We take life to literally, this is a game.
Yeah.
We are behind. You can't move a finish line if nothing is being played. But we utilize these analogies all the time. But we don't even realize this is really a game we're playing. But I think, in my opinion, that goes back to a bunch of things. The art of not knowing. When you don't know you're in the game, you don't understand you're getting played.
Right.
Take it to chess. I don't know a whole lot about chess, but I know what a pawn is.
Yep.
If you don't understand that you're on a chessboard, I can use you as my pawn. You ain't gonna know. You don't even know this is a game.
Right.
I'm gonna use you to win. I'm gonna use you to get ahead, aka corporate America.
Yeah.
This is a game.
Yep.
I think we are the reasons why we are still stuck. We know a lot of us know it's a game, but we're not doing nothing to change the game.
Oh man.
That's why Flight is here.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
When you understand how the game works, you find cheat codes. Hello, Flight. Hello, Mom.
Yeah.
Just saying. You learn the cheat codes and you learn how to navigate within the game. You already know how the game works. They're not gonna change the system.
Right. Oh no. But
So
they
you
will change
gotta,
the rules.
you gotta figure out how to make the system work in your favor.
Absolutely.
But that comes to understanding that this is a game.
Right.
That's the issue. But that's why I wanted to do a podcast, because when you don't know, you can't do anything about it.
Yep.
But when you know, it's hard to just sit in that knowing you can do something about it.
Absolutely. I just told a friend recently about it being a game. Credit.
Literally.
Reddit is the biggest game ever. And right when a little bit of knowledge got leaked out, because you start to think, am I the only person who the cars got repoed? Why is this happening to me? And why is it so catastrophic at this point? It changed my whole life having a car repo, because now my credit looks like this, my loans look like this, and everybody's telling me no. But in order for you, like you said, you didn't know it was a game because there's somebody over here with an answer that says all you got to do is write a letter.
And boom.
Like everybody else before you did, and it's gone. But now everybody's starting to write these letters.
So they're catching on to the fact that we're catching on to the game. So
Yep.
you know what that means. Change
the
the rules.
Yeah.
Bingo. The key to this, guys, is understanding that this is a game. Think about this from a figurative perspective. We literally have a board game called life. Let's be for real. They put the shit in your face. There's a board game called life.
Yeah.
And in the board game life, if you ain't never played it, you get to choose a house, you get to choose a career. But this is not chosen by you. This is chosen by the dice that you roll.
Yeah.
You don't choose your career. You don't choose certain things that happen down the road. It's a game. But again, when you learn how to play the game, Monopoly, the game of the first game of life, Monopoly. When you learn how to play the game, it's hard to lose.
Yeah.
Because even if you don't come out on top, you're going to be one of the top contenders. You're going to be up there still. You might not be the richest person, but you're going to be wealthy.
Right,
you see what I'm saying?
Right.
I believe that our people, one of the reasons why we're still stuck is because we don't realize that this is a game. And so we treat this like it's almost like it's Bible, like it can't be changed. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is how it is. This is how it got to be played. It ain't nothing we can do about it. It's like, oh, we just got to put up with it. Well, no, you don't have to.
Right.
You can rearrange some stuff on the board. You just ain't doing it. They're not going to tell you can rearrange stuff on the board. Why would they do that?
Oh, speaking of that, I just found out from someone close to me by association, if you got veteran plates, you don't pay tolls on the road.
Swear.
It's not probably 100% of the tolls.
But still, though, that's an advantage.
Tell you.
I don't know. Why would they do that? Why would I
All
tell
these
you that?
veterans going to get their license, and you don't think they would? Come on, really?
Why would I tell you that? Because I'm trying to make money. Why would I tell you ways for me to get shortchanged? I'm not doing that. That's crazy.
Yep.
But when you realize the game, you share the wealth. And I know that what we do is a threat to society.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I know that. But I'm okay with that because I got somebody and something back at me that y'all can't do nothing about.
Right.
So I'm going to put the information out there. Life is a game, guys. It is. Learn how to play it.
Yep. And play it for your freedom.
Resources. There are resources in games. You can call a friend. That's what Flight is. That's what Mom is. Utilize your resources. Get ahead in the game. And the crazy part is you don't even have to harm other people to get ahead. But that's what they want you to believe so that you don't ever do it. Because most of y'all are not going to do that to get ahead. Some of y'all will. Some of y'all don't care. But most of y'all, for the most part, you're not going to do that because you don't want to get ahead in that manner.
Yeah.
But that's not the only way to get ahead.
Yep. That's why they put it in your TV programming.
Yep.
That's why they put it in your music
Programming.
Yeah.
You literally, back in the day, they had this wonderful thing called a TV guide, and it used to roll all day and all night. You had to wait for it to get to your specific channel. If you looked at that late at night, there would be a bunch of different titles that literally just said paid programming, and it would run for hours. And you would go to that channel and it would just be paid advertising of people trying to convince you to buy certain things, to buy into the idea of certain things. Not necessarily the product, because the product is not making you rich. The idea is making you rich. If I can convince you that this is a good product, you buying into my idea. And even if it don't work, if I'm so convincing, you'll keep buying into my idea. Now I'm getting rich off of your lack of understanding. That's how they play these games, but y'all letting them. Yep. I would play it like that too if you're going to let me.
100%.
But see, that's not the type of person I am, and that's why we're doing this podcast.
Yeah, these are, ideologies that are not new. This is just something that happens whenever you take time and look around, because honestly, what was that, The Matrix? Yeah. The Matrix is just one of those movies that you can watch it, but there are other people who watch it for a different meaning, or they just get a different meaning from it.
Right.
But life is happening around you, and so many people are plugged into this idea of what life is, and they're subscribed to the thought of, oh, well, that's life.
It's like, well, no, it don't have to be, though.
Right.
It don't have to be. At the end of the day, the game can literally change overnight.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Gorilla. That's why I love tomorrow. Because tomorrow I could be a millionaire. Literally, I can wake up tomorrow and be rich as hell.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of life, the game. You make the rules.
Absolutely.
People wake up every day and make new rules. You subscribe to them. That's the only reason the rules work.
Yep.
If you don't subscribe to the rules, they don't work. They're going to change them.
You know what's funny? I had a meeting last Friday, and the meeting was just about part of my job, and this is why I told you about my resolution. Out of nowhere, I was started talking about how people. So I was talking about different worlds, right? And how people create the world in any different aspect. So corporate America is a different world. Military is a different world. College, that's a different world.
Absolutely.
Okay, and they're only these could be literally all in one state: a college, a corporate job, and a military base. These are all three different worlds, but they're on the same land. Why are they different worlds? Because people are making them different.
Absolutely.
People are designing the construct of this world. Okay, and then, like you're saying, we subscribe to it. Why do we subscribe or behave in a way that these invisible floating rules control our lives?
Bingo.
Because if these people can make a reality, because that's what it is, then we can make a reality. But why aren't we?
Because we don't know that we can. See, I think another thing that plays into us not realizing or utilizing our freedom is we don't even know what we are able to do. Not allowed, able to do. Forget allowed, because that's the reason why we're still stuck. Right. We wait until we're allowed. There was a time where our ancestors were not waiting for things to happen.
Yeah.
If the people in Haiti waited for things to happen, there would have never been a revolution.
Yeah.
You can't wait for things to change for you. Sometimes you got to make things change for you. Yeah. And I get it. Like, a lot of people's like, oh, I don't want to go that route. Okay, that's cool. That's not the route for you. You're going to take it a little slower. It might take you longer to get there.
Right.
Because you're playing by their rules. It's going to take you a very long time to get there. But if you play by your own rules and you make the rules up as you go, like they've been doing, then you'll get ahead. Now, granted, they'll probably try to Black Wall Street you, Lake Lanier you. You know, they might try to do that, try to kill everything around you. But when you understand your true power, it's minimal that people can do to you.
Oh, yeah. And you have to have, you see, that's why having the elders is so important, because they have the wisdom and the younger people have the energy.
Drive, right.
Yeah, because they know what happened before. and they know, they have the wisdom to tell you, okay, you're going to make a new world. Don't tell this group of people. Mm-hmm. Don't go to this side of town. Mm-hmm. Don't invest. I mean, don't get your loans from here, because that's what we did and it didn't work out.
And you know what, though? I think that you made a good point. In my opinion, the elders are not as vocal as they should be. And
They
what
can
I
strip
mean,
down.
right. And because of it, and a lot of people are going to do whatever protects their well-being. A lot of them are not going to tell you these things because this kind of goes against the grain of who's paying them. And so when you do that, you're putting your well-being in jeopardy. And most people don't want to do that. It's like, I can tell you all of this stuff. Like, for example, my book, I did not want to put it out because I did not want it to be misconstrued. I did not want it to be seemingly a hate or a bashing book, because that's not what it was. It was observations being laid out. It's like, here's what I've observed. Here are the facts, and here's what I observed. But I can see how that can be taken as like a negative thing. And I feel like the elders are kind of like that. It's like, okay, I get what you're doing and I love the idea of it, but that might be taken wrong. And if they take it wrong, you might lose your job. You might lose this. You're worried so much about the things that we're giving to you. And I'm going to be frank, from this white world, so much to the point where you're willing to jeopardize your true freedom to stay on this course. Why? You don't feel like you can create a better life for yourself outside of this?
Yeah.
You feel like you got to stay in this bubble and you got to do it like this and you got to pay this, and most of the stuff we think we got to do, we don't.
Right.
We only do it because we feel or we think we have to. And society is not going to tell you, hey, you ain't got to pay that. Hey, you ain't got to do that. Hey, you can write that off.
Right.
That's one of the things they hate about these new age tax preparers, because they are showing you ways that the rich stay rich, therefore creating more millionaires. Society don't want more millionaires, because who's going to be the slave?
Dude, if you make over 100K, you're in the top 3%. 3% only make 100K.
I saw a newscasting the other day, and it said, it was actually an interview from ACO and Meghan McCain, and they were talking on The View to Whoopi and all of the people. And AOC was like, do you know the median salary income in the U.S.? 60% of Americans make less than $40,000 a year.
Wow.
This was an interview that was just recently done. So this is recent information.
Yeah.
60% of the U.S. makes less than $40,000, which means 60% of the U.S. cannot afford to rent anywhere.
That's crazy.
60%. That's more than half. Over more than half make less than $100,000, or not $100,000, less than $50,000, or more than half. That's asinine.
Right.
But when you have a society that is okay with the minimum wage being $7.25, which when you do the math, even working 40 hours a week, 80 hours every 2 weeks, you don't even have enough to pay rent, let alone other things.
Right.
And it's like, well, how can you ever expect this to grow if you're not doing anything to help the people at the bottom? Like, you putting all these restrictions, and then when they do want help, you making them fill out all of this stuff, and you got to qualify this, you got to be eligible, you got to wait this many days. It's like, come on, bro, that is frustrating for anybody.
Right.
And the fact that we got to jump through hoops to get help is asinine to me, when you have one of the richest men living in America. Like Jeff Bezos, you make hundreds of millions of dollars a fucking second. That's insane to me. But companies want money more than they care about people.
Right.
You got things that could literally be rearranged. All it takes is the right person to say, okay, that's what we're doing. But then that means you're going to lose money. But if you're making $50 million a year, what is $10,000 going to hurt you?
Right.
That's greed. The top will remain at the top because they're going to continue to crumb feed us. And as long as we keep accepting these fucking crumbs, they're not going to change nothing.
Yep.
They hate the pandemic happened because all these entrepreneurs popped up.
Yeah.
All of these new business owners popped up. And it's like, oh, well, there's not a job shortage anymore. No, because everybody went and started doing it themselves. They tired of making $7.25. Right. They're tired of penny pinching. They're tired of struggling and check to check. We are tired of that. Right. People are trying to find resources and avenues and ways out of that. And linking yourself to a corporate business that don't have no room for advancement or are not trying to advance you is not a good look. Like, you gonna walk away. Yeah. In my opinion, from what I've seen, the most people that are staying on jobs are the older people. They're already accustomed from a mental standpoint to that type of mindset. Yeah. I gotta work till I'm 70. I'm not fucking working till I'm 70. I'm 31. I'm 35. I'm retiring. I promise you. I'm saying this on record because I mean that. Yeah. I'm not working in my 40s and 50s. The things I'll be doing in my late mid 30s, and I'll be honest, speeches and conferences and book signings and radio talk shows, and that's what I'm gonna be doing. Yeah. Post 35. I don't know about y'all. I'm not working for a corporate job till I'm 70. Right. That's crazy. Not to mention, a lot of these people, they be working on these jobs, that pension shit, that ain't even a thing no more. So you don't spend 60 years at a job, you don't even got no pension for real. Yep. And they been playing with your money this whole time.
That's crazy. The whole concept of freedom and retirement. That was the scam sold to workers to give a facade of freedom. But we all know that today is, whatever. 401k, whatever. I'll get into that whole thing because actually, we've been at this for a while, man. So, I mean, we have 3 or 4 more, talking points on freedom.
We're just going to have to make another episode. And I'm cool with it because I feel like this is the foundation of the conversation and it's necessary. And also, we want you guys' opinion. Like, what does freedom mean to you? What does that look like? Right. And I mean, beyond that, what do you think it takes to achieve true freedom? Yeah. What do you think that you can do today to ensure you have true freedom by the end of this year? This is day 2. This is January 2nd. Yeah. So you have a plethora of days to be doing things to make sure at the end of the year, you can be free for real.
Yep. And that doesn't even mean work more hours or whatever. Mentally, think about it. Think about freedom and what it means to you, and then take a step and try to make it happen. Set up your world. Create your world around your version of freedom.
Bingo.
Because that's where it starts. It starts mentally first. Exactly. Everything does. So yeah.
Yeah, I think another thing for people to understand, especially with this whole metaverse thing. You said something key. You said make your own world. A lot of y'all are going up into virtual reality and y'all are creating a perfect world. You can do that here. Yeah. They are literally showing you what is being done here in the physical, but you're taking it to the virtual and you're building houses and you're like the successful entrepreneur, and do that in real life. Yeah. The things that you're creating in your Sims world or in your virtual reality world, you can do that here. Yep. Literally, those games are literally based on life, the real life. Yep. Because this is a game. So create the world that you want. If you need resources, hit up Mom. Hit up the Mom page. That's Mental on My Mind. We will link you with the necessary resources to start creating your perfect world. Yep. But that starts with you doing something. Yeah. That starts with you fighting like it's going to happen today.
You reminded me of something like that. Like, you know how, because this metaverse thing, virtual reality is you living in a fantasy, or let's call it a dream, right? You're living in a dream, but you know that empty feeling you get when you're actually dreaming in real life, and then you got all this money, you're rich, and where you were, everything is peaceful, and then you wake up, that slight second of like, you feel empty. It's just like, damn, I wish I could have stayed there.
You can, though.
But you actually can.
That's another thing. I believe that people don't understand that the life they see for themselves, it actually exists, because time is not a real thing. Mm-hmm. We view time from a linear scale, but time is not linear. Mm-hmm. If you've seen that movie, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, or whatever it's called, that is a perfect depiction of how life is. Don't mean to really spoil it, but there's a moment in the movie where she sees the alternate reality had she taken a different or made a different choice. Mm-hmm. That reality also exists, but she was operating in the reality in which she was putting the work in. Like, if you ain't doing nothing but sitting on the couch, but you see yourself on stage, but you ain't doing nothing, you ain't gonna never get on stage. You're never gonna get to that version of you.
Right.
That version of you exists, but what are you doing to match up with the frequency of that version?
Oh yeah.
What are you doing to actually make sure you're on stage the next year or whatever? I mean, think about the award shows when people be like, I remember sitting on the couch and dreaming of. You want to know why they really got there? Because they did the work.
Yep.
They dreamt it and they realized the dreams are attainable because they are.
Yep. And this is why it's dangerous. This is why metaverse is dangerous, because everything in this country has been designed to give you that quick boost of what's not serotonin. What is that?
Dopamine?
Dopamine. Yeah, the dopamine rush. Everything is, that's how it's set up. We live in a microwave generation. We get it right now. We order it on Amazon right now. We do everything we want it right now. So that's why it's dangerous. It's because let's say a concert. Let's say you want to be a musician, and you're a musician in the metaverse, and now that dopamine hits, and you feel great, but then it's time to go to bed, and and that's another day wasted. Okay, dopamine hits. Or it's crazy. It's a waste. It's synthetic life. All right. And then you can't live on that. You can't live on that.
And see, that's what people need to understand. You can release dopamine in other ways in real life, but that goes back to you, like you said, actually doing the work. Like, you can be super famous in the metaverse, but you can walk outside and nobody knows you. You're a nobody in reality, but in the metaverse, you are a freaking rock star. But I mean, if we're being truthful, and I got to wrap this up, but if we're being truthful, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, if you think about it, it's no different than when a person, or when social media first came about, and you could create a persona behind a keyboard. I don't know you. I've never met you. You can tell me that you're all of this stuff, and you can look the part. The people that know you live around you. I don't live around you. So to me, you're a celebrity. You got the perfect life online, and everything looks all the par. And every time you get on social media, you're the it person. Yeah. But in real life, nobody knows you. In real life, you're not even this person you portray yourself to be online. Yeah. That was like almost like level 1 of this virtual reality, because I mean, that was its own version of reality. I mean, people were getting cyberbullied. Let's be for real. Like, people are low-key or high-key getting bullied over the internet. And it's like, people say, oh, that's not real. Internet ain't real. It's just as real as reality.
It was another world built by
Exactly. It's people. Just as real as reality. Reality ain't real.
Yeah.
Because if it was, Love and Hip Hop, Flavor of Love, the Real World, Surreal Life, all of that stuff, a lot of that stuff is scripted. A lot of that stuff, they give you a storyline like, hey, y'all gonna be real cool, on this show. And y'all gonna be doing the most hanging out. And we need to spice it up. Y'all need to get into a little altercation. This shit is not real. It's altered based on what they feel like the people want. Right. So I'm saying all of that to say this. You can create your reality however you see fit.
Yep.
Your reality looks how it looks because of the things you are doing or not doing.
Yep.
It's all on you. I can't say I want to be best-selling author and I want to be this traveling motivational speaker, but I'm not writing books and I'm not speaking. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yep.
Speak those things into existence. I mean, that's biblical. Speak those things that are not as though they are. Right. Fruition. It's going to happen.
Right.
Anyway, man, listen, I could roll on about this. We're going to have to turn this into a second episode.
Yeah, this is gonna spill over quite a while. So yeah, I mean, this is Dash and Dallas.
This is T.
And we're gonna see you on the next episode.
We out.